Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Linda.
Welcome to another episode of Homegrown Family. We've got a parent pro tip for you.
Yes, and so
Ring, ring. Newsflash.
okay. So in this episode, we're going to talk about when should your child get their own cell phone.
I know, right? This is something we never had to deal with when I was young.
Most of us never had to deal with.
Because there was no such thing as a cell phone.
Yeah.
We had that phone with the long cord and
Yeah.
rotary. It's a different world, isn't it? It's an amazing world. Right now, in your hand, you can have something that is more powerful than early computers.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
really.
unbelievable, the possibility. You can communicate with people all over the world. You can find out information that used to only be found in Encyclopedia Britannicas. Remember those?
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that this valuable tool, which is so helpful and amazing, is made its way into the family dynamic. And there's a lot of positives about that. But there's some struggles, too.
Well, certainly. And I think I was going to say that in a lot of families, it has become a necessity.
Yeah.
You know, kids are really busy these days. And so keeping track of when do you need picked up or whose house are you at, like just keeping track of your kids has become a necessity. And that's where, for us, that has become almost the determining factor of when
Right.
a child gets a phone. It has their schedule increased enough to the point where we feel like we can't get a hold of them when we need to get a hold of them. Therefore, they need a phone.
I think that is literally, for us, the deciding
It
factor.
is the deciding factor because,
Yeah.
I mean, cell phones are expensive. And the more lines you add and then all the data
Right.
and all of that stuff, it's so expensive. It can become almost as expensive as a house payment
Oh, I was
or a
thinking,
car payment, at least, a car
absolutely.
payment. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
so for us, it really has to be a smart choice. But I know that a lot of people really struggle with this. I think there's some families that we know who've given their children cell phones probably by the time they're in third grade, and maybe they have felt judged by that. They have felt judged that, people think I'm a bad parent because I've given my kid a cell phone for whatever reason they gave it to them. And then you have other families who feel like they might need to give their kid a cell phone, but then they feel like, oh, maybe we shouldn't. It's probably not the right thing to do. So they're feeling judged even before they make that choice. And like everything else that we're going to talk about when it comes to parenting, we will say, bottom line, it's your choice.
Right.
It's your family. Do what's right for you. Do what's right for your family. But we just want to talk a little bit about maybe the struggles we've had with it and why we've chosen to give our kids, the ones that we have, cell phones.
So part of this comes down to finances. It's a big purchase to get the kid a phone in the first place. So usually what'll happen for us when we find that a kid's ready, and like we said, it usually comes down to, do we need to get in touch with them more often than we're able to? That being said, if that's the case, then what we'll do is either Linda and I will get an upgraded phone, and,
Yep, that's
and
an
then we'll
excuse.
pass the phone down to the next one
Yep.
in line. Right now, for example, we have a son that is going to be 16 soon, and he is needing that phone.
Yes.
He's been asking for a phone for years.
Right.
We're not interested in just giving technology for technology's sake.
Because
there's a lot of ways that they can access technology through the computer and their tablets and things like that.
Right. Not their tablets, our tablets, because we don't get them
Correct.
tablets either. But the reason in the past why he would want a phone is so that he could go on Instagram, so he could text his friends, so he could
Right.
take pictures, whatever. And to us, that is not a good enough reason to have a phone. The phone is for our use, not their use. Obviously, they use it, they enjoy it. Once they have it, they have fun, they do the Instagram, they do all of that, and that's okay. We supervise those things. But really, ultimately, the phone is for us to get a hold of them. And so we have one problem that we have seen that families have had is that they feel like they've lost control of their child in that area. So, I can't get my child to turn his phone off before bed, or they're on their phone all the time, or they use passwords and I can't get into their phone. And
Oh, yeah.
my answer to that always is, it's your phone. You're the parent. You bought the phone. It's your phone. You have control over it. If you have a child who keeps putting a password on there that you can't get into, to me, the answer would simply be, next time I can't get into your phone, you've lost the phone. It's
Right.
gone. And so if you have to wait around until I come to pick you up at school, you wait around. And that I think that parents have felt they've lost that control over their phone in this technology, their child in this technology, and we say, get it back.
Sure. I
It's
think
yours.
well, that's right. That's a great point. And there have been times that we had a bowl where the kids could put their phones at night if we felt like that was becoming a problem. And there have been times that we needed to get into their phones. And if they had a password, they would tell us the password. So I think part of this comes down to, for us, the kids are older when they get the cell phones. So it's another part of that journey of teaching them to be responsible, and it's also another part of our growing relationship of trust. I don't just go in and break into my kids' phones for no reason whatsoever. The only time I'll ever need access to their phone is if I'm trying to do something and they're sending maybe a signal, and because they're connected to my account. Long and the short of it is, it's rare, but that'll happen. If they were to look at me and say, I have my password on, and I'm not going to tell it to you, they would have no more phone. That's just
Right.
100% the
Right.
case.
I mean, this idea, and I've seen it on TV, it drives me absolutely crazy. You're invading my privacy. Don't come into my room without asking me. I deserve my privacy, and we've always said, no, you don't. I mean, to a degree. We're not going to walk into our kids. I know my older ones, I'll knock and walk in, but I'm going to knock and walk in. I'm not going to knock and be invited in. Or that same thing with the phone. That this is you are my responsibility, and until you are in your own home and you're taking care of your own bills, you do not have complete privacy away from me. I am to protect you, and I'm going to invade your privacy in order to do that.
Right, but again, I think going back to this idea, though, it's when you start building that relationship with your kids of trust. There is no need for me to go snooping in my kids'
Right.
room right now, or their phones. I'm not worried about that. But I do have regular conversations with them, especially for the boys. So I might ask them, "Are you struggling with pornography?" And that's an embarrassing conversation to have with your father, but I feel like I need to have those conversations now and then with him. And why? Because that's the big concern. This is one of the great reasons that a lot of parents don't want their kids to have access to phones, is because of the dangers. And we all know that there are a lot of dangers.
Yeah.
Pornography, there are predators out there. There can be almost like this delayed adolescence where people are doing things immaturely. There can be bullying. For all those reasons, and there's enough reasons even connected to mental development that
Right.
could hinder a child from having access to that kind of technology at a young age. What I realize, though, is that the older my kids get and the relationship I'm building with them, I need to be able to have conversations with them that are personal and that are intense, but are not overbearing and manipulative or terribly invasive. And because of that trust relationship, I think that's when you'll know there's something's not right here. I'm going to check this out. We're gonna ask if there's resistance. We wonder, why is there resistance, and we can start going a little bit further into that with our children. Look, when it's said and done, you have to make the decision on whether or not they have cell phones or access to internet past a certain time, or how much television they're going to watch, or whether they have an iPad or not. This is what it means to be a parent. And for Linda and I, we realized a long time ago that you can have what we call offensive parenting or defensive parenting. One is you're afraid of everything. You don't want them exposed to any of that stuff. There's bad that's there, so we're not going to let you have any of that. No TV, no tablet, no phone, nothing like that. We're removing you, and we call that defensive parenting. Or you can have offensive, where you take the initiative and you actively involve yourself. What are they watching on TV? What are they looking at on their phones? And that's what we prefer, because that's where we're at. There's nothing intrinsically in and of itself wrong with social media and cellular phones. It's not that. It's how you use it. And how you use it depends on the person. What kind of person is that? Well, you have a lot to do with that when it comes to your kids.
That's great, honey.
Sorry I talk so much.
No, it's good. It's good, because I think it comes down to empowering parents, to be the adult in the situation. And like you said, that you're going to ask those questions that are hard. We're going to teach them what we want them to teach. Have our kids been perfect? No, they haven't. And but that's okay. We love them and we work with them. We're not perfect, and it's a growing experience all together as a family. So good job, honey.
So get involved.
Get
Don't
involved.
be afraid. If people are judging you because you're getting your kid a cell phone, just know this. They're probably judging you for something else too.
That's true.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just you and your family. So and this is what's the great consolation. Last thing, sometimes I see people go on like should I let my kids watch Disney Plus? Should I let my kids, read the Harry Potter books? Should I let my kids have a cell phone? Like, I'm not your parent,
Right.
and I'm not the parent of your child.
Yeah.
Here's what we do, if that'll help. But at the end of the day, if you pick something different, then that's your world. That's what you got to figure out. What's going to work for you, what's not going to work for you. And I get a little tired of people that are super manipulative and controlling, saying that somehow or another, if you do that, you've just opened Pandora's box. By the way, that is a good reference when it comes to the cell phone, because there is the possibility of all sorts of crud coming in. But you could also look at it as another positive, which is, an outlet for communication and evangelization, which is what we choose to do with social media, our phones, things like this. So, get in the seat, the
Yeah.
driver's seat.
Yes.
Take your family somewhere amazing.
All right. Thanks for watching.